Tēnā koutou katoa, shalom aleichem. It's a pleasure and a privilege to be able to say a few words on this really significant occasion to you. First of all, just like to say, Your Excellencies, Ambassador Ryan, welcome to New Zealand. It's lovely to have you here. Ambassador Stefan, it's lovely to have you here. And I think very appropriate to have you sitting side by side in this particular circumstance. To the Race Relations Commissioner, Ming, lovely to see you here as well. MPs, I know I've seen Greg O'Connor, Chris Bishop, Nicola Willis, I don't think any others, and I'm not sure any other councillors around, but anyway, I'd like to recognise you all, but I'd like to recognise everyone here. David's already talked about, and David, it's lovely to be here and an honour to be here with you here and all that you do for the Jewish community. So a privilege to be here among you friends. But this day is about, and in fact I look behind me here, lest we forget, and this day really is about reminding us that we should never forget. And I think David sadly has read out that list of things, that the terrible evil that was done during the Holocaust to not just the Jewish people but also to many other people. You've listed gypsies, homosexuals, other people who didn't fit in with the evil Nazi regime, who suffered, who died, who were murdered in the concentration camps by the Nazi regime. But as you said, David, we have in many ways forgotten. There are atrocities that are committed around the world to people because of who they are, and that is just wrong. Or it may be it's your race, your religion, your creed, whatever it is, sexual orientation. Those things are wrong, and those are the things that we must stand up against. And in fact, what you said, David, is that we know that is happening. You mentioned the Uyghur in China. And if I may say, we tiptoe as a nation between what is in our interests economically and what we know is the right thing to do as human beings in supporting other people. And I think our response in this country too, we saw on our own soil the terrible atrocity that was done in Christchurch with the mosque massacres. And I think that we responded as a nation in exactly the right way, led by our Prime Minister, which essentially said we are all one. We are diverse and we should celebrate that diversity, but we should also be united in our diversity. We should enjoy our diversity, not see it as something that divides us. It's also very appropriate that we here as the capital city should lead the way, partly because we are the seat of government, but also because we're the place which the diplomatic corps represents many of the nations of the world. And one of the things that I really love about the job that I have as mayor is being able to meet with the ambassadorial community, from all over the world, and there's a fantastically strong community and a group of people who I think get on really well together, and that is something that is very special about Wellington. But also partly because Wellington has been the home of the earliest organised Jewish communities in this country since 1840. It's been said that those who fail to learn from the history are condemned to repeat it, and we certainly do not want more genocides nor discrimination against any minority group. I think we talked about a year or so ago about a resolution to adopt a resolution against anti-Semitism. But in fact, the feedback we got from our community is that we need to make sure that we do that against any form of oppression. And one of the other things that I had recently was the pleasure of having the Interfaith Council come and talk to me about how we can work together, all faiths, and that's a really special part of what is going on. Manjit, I see you over there as well, but all faiths coming together to try and learn and to promote understanding between those different faiths so that we can celebrate those together. And that's something that's very special. I look forward to continuing to do that. So an immediate initiative we had is that at our citizenship ceremony, which we have regularly when we're welcoming new citizens to New Zealand, that we actually have somebody from the Interfaith Council representing that diversity of faith. And at our council meetings now, and David and Manjit have been to our council meetings. So the last council meeting at the end of last year, we said that's the first time we had the Interfaith Council coming along to us and saying a prayer, and it didn't matter which faith it was in. In this case, David prayed for us. And that's a very special part, again, about celebrating our diversity through the different faiths we have. I also want to tell you just a few stories here. We are fortunate. One of the themes this year is not just lest we forget, but it's also about the people who have been displaced by the terrible things, whether it's war or oppression. And the Jewish community in Wellington has made such an enormous difference to our community, and I think we ought to celebrate that. And I wanted to give you two stories. One of those is about Jewish refugees who came from Europe and have come and contributed so much to our city and to our nation. German-born Harry Saracen has been called the godfather of Wellington's cafe culture. Now, he started with the coffee gallery in Parsons Bookshop, much loved bookshop, on Lambton Quay. Saracen then set up the restaurant and downstage theatre, where the meals matched the plays. Later, he established the Settlement, which combined restaurant, art gallery, craft market and performance space. It was the start of a vibrant coffee and arts atmosphere that we all love in Wellington today. Harry's sons and grandson are celebrated New Zealand cinematographers. The second one I wanted to mention was the Czech-born Fred Turnovsky, who became one of Australasia's largest manufacturers of soft leather goods and a leader in the New Zealand Manufacturers Federation. Fred gave huge impetus to the development of music and other arts, helping set up chamber music and opera in Wellington and New Zealand, and prominent on the Arts Council. He was a trustee of the New Zealand International Festival of the Arts and a member of the Project Development Board of the Museum of New Zealand, Te Papa Tongarewa. The Turnovsky Endowment Trust continues his philanthropy in the arts to this very day. I guess what I'm saying is that these men who were displaced from Europe in terrible conditions have contributed so much to our city, and we are very grateful for that. I'm just going to finish off